Welcome back to the channel, decoders and friends, family all over the world. Welcome back. This is Decoding with Cody. Today is June 5th, 2026, and this is a live stream. We're going to have a lot to talk about in this live stream, so give me that thumbs up in the live stream chat if the volume is working, and that will be our first step as we get into this stream. Thank you guys. You guys are already on it. Thank you, Sojourn. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you, Coffee Girl. Also, Full Armor is in the house. Also, thank you, Betty. Hello to Betty. Nice to see you as well. Cable X in the house. And Lolo in the house. We also got Maggie McCombs. Hello, Maggie. God bless you. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. We got 33 in the chat. Funny enough, the word orange sums to 33 in gematria. How about that? Now we got 44, but the first time I looked at the stream count, it was showing 33. So that's probably a good place to start, actually, because that orange is, I believe, one of the only colors, if not the only color, that sums to 33. And we know they love 33, right? That's a very big number on the world stage. So 33 in the orange, but notice it also equals 60. And we're going to talk about that number as well and how important that number is. But what is this stream about, guys? Well, it's not just about the World Cup. And also prefacing this, I don't want anyone betting. Again, I do not endorse betting, and I don't want anyone to take their money and bet on Netherlands because of this stream. But I want to say that this is my first World Cup. Okay, I've never decoded the World Cup before. I'm not a soccer fan necessarily. I'm from the United States, so obviously I'm not. It's not my main sport. So I sat down for the first time ever and tried to decode a World Cup, and I just followed what logic points to. Okay, I'm just gonna, based off of what I found here, it's all just logic. Okay, just logical connections about what's happened the whole of 2026. It's not just about the World Cup. We're going to talk about all the events that have happened in this year of 2026 and how it connects to the Netherlands. And again, we're going to go, this is, guys, I hope you hit the like button for this one. This was a comprehensive decode. I researched and I read history and I did a lot of research for this video, okay? So you're not going to get a much more comprehensive decode on the Netherlands than this video and how it connects to this year and also this World Cup coming up in a few days. So I really hope that this stream is a learning lesson for all of us, and I hope that you guys in the chat will also be able to provide additional information as we go through. But again, this was comprehensive. You're going to learn history here. You're going to learn colors. You're going to learn numbers, of course, like we always do. But we're just going to take a look at all the events that happened this year and how they connect and how it led to this, to me, putting just logical pieces together, okay? So we'll wait a few minutes. Please hit those likes if you're just getting in as usual. We'll wait a few minutes here, get a few more people in, and then we'll get started, okay? And again, I want to preface this by saying I'm not even 100% sure this is going to happen, okay? But I'm just doing the best thing I can do by looking at the clues that are given and the connections that are there. So again, it's my best I can do, especially being somebody who is not a fan of soccer and or football, as they say in most of the world. It's not that I'm not a fan of it. It's just I grew up in the United States where it's not so common. And thank you to all the people in the chat so far. We only have 61 so far. I was really hoping for a better turnout here. Hopefully we'll get some people rolling in. But for the people that are here, thank you for being here. And let me just start off by saying as I already mentioned, when I sat down, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to decode the World Cup. Again, not my wheelhouse, not something that I normally do, but I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try to figure this out. Not because I want to bet, not because I want to make money, but because I want to be in tune with the riddles. I want to be in tune with what I feel like they're pointing to. Okay. I think that the Argentina winning the 2022 World Cup was pretty in your face. You had the Pope from Argentina, you had Leo Messi, hadn't won a World Cup yet. There was a lot of things, and again, I wasn't even decoding the World Cup in 2022. I just started my channel and I wasn't decoding it at that time. So this is my first World Cup trying to decode, and we're gonna see what I can do. But again, not for money, not for betting necessarily, but just to figure out what is the riddle here, what is going on in the world, and how is it all connected. And this is my best guess so far. I might also do more decodes as we get closer, of course. So let me just preface this by saying we're going to talk a lot about the color orange. We're going to talk a lot about the country Netherlands and why that's about the orange. And we're also going to talk about the letter V again. Again, if you guys haven't seen my last decodes about the letter V, please go check those out, okay? We have a NBA Finals going on right now, just to preface this. And one of the teams is primarily orange and blue, okay? And again, actually, this is kind of what first made me think, oh, we have an orange and blue team in the finals in the NBA right before the World Cup starts. In fact, the World Cup will be going on during the NBA Finals, and one of the teams is orange and blue. So that was the kind of the first thing I thought, like, okay, the Knicks are orange and blue. And then I started thinking about all the events that happened in 2026, and I was like, wait, there's kind of a connection between all the things that are happened this year. So the other team that's in the finals is, of course, the San Antonio Spurs, whose logo kind of looks like a U going into a V. Okay, it's a U, but it has a point. So it's kind of a combination of U and V. Now, also, the Spurs have a player named Victor, and V is for Victor in the phonetic alphabet. And in my last decode, I mentioned how Victor is all about the alien invasion movie, the V. Again, you guys got to go back and watch that last video. But we're going to talk about the V again because the language, what European language uses the V most? Let's just type that in, okay? Well, I wouldn't say most. I don't want the Slavic, I guess. I'm talking about more of the Western European. Let me just type in Dutch here. I just want to point out something before I even get into this. I started thinking the Netherlands, the Dutch language has a lot of V's. And in the Dutch language, it sounds like an F. Now, the Netherlands is in Group F in the World Cup. If you look, let me just scroll down here. I'm trying to find the groups. Where's the groups? Okay, so Netherlands is in Group F. And funny enough, again, in the German and Dutch language, the V makes an F sound. Okay, so that's interesting, just in general. But they're in a group with Japan. And this, guys, this is going to be the most mind-blowing part of why Japan is in a group with the Netherlands. And again, this is going to be, once we get to this part of the decode, it's going to be mind-blowing, guys. It's going to be mind-blowing that I didn't find this connection until after I'd already gone down a whole rabbit hole about Netherlands. And once I found this, it was like, man, how is this not it? Okay. And I'm going to show you that later on. So stick around for that. If you guys are just getting in, please stick around for this whole decode because all this information has to connect for this to work. Okay. And again, we're going to talk about Japan and why the first game for the Netherlands is versus Japan and how that kind of brings everything together. Now, back to what I was saying. We're going to talk about the V, of course, as well. But let's just get into the slides and let's just kind of take this step by step. Again, this is going to be a comprehensive decode in so many ways, okay? This research is not easy, guys, but this comprehensively, I hope, is going to show a lot of... I learned a lot by doing this decode. All right. So first, let's talk about the V again, right? The V. We just had the series called The Boys. And I started looking into the letter V after this series ended because this whole series is about the letter V. Compound V is the serum that makes the superheroes, again. But what's interesting about this show is that it ended 23 days, okay? The show ended 23 days before the start of the 23rd World Cup, okay? Is that a coincidence? Maybe it's a coincidence. But is the show about a V ending 23 days before the 23rd World Cup, okay? Why is that important? Because if you're looking at elements on the periodic table, the letter V for vanadium is the 23rd element. Now, V is the 22nd letter, but V is the 23rd element. Again, the last World Cup was the 22nd World Cup. This would be the 23rd, like V for vanadium, okay? So again, the show all about the V, the compound V, ends 23 days before the 23rd World Cup, and V is the 23rd element on the periodic table, okay? I don't think that's a coincidence. Now, V stands for Victor, which is victory, okay, in the phonetic alphabet. Now, here we're going to go back to the beginning of 2026. Again, we have to follow all the riddles to try to put the best pieces together to make the best conclusions. So let's go back to February 2026, and let's talk about what happened and how I was already covering this in February. Now we're here in June, and I'm going to show you how it connects. So the one championship that we already had this year was the Super Bowl. Who won the Super Bowl? Okay, the Seahawks. But during the Super Bowl, we were going through the Olympics. Okay? During the Super Bowl, we were having the Olympics. So just keep that in mind. Now, during the Olympics, there was one athlete that was getting pushed onto the feeds, on my feed especially, more than any. And it's this girl right here. Her name is Judah Leerdam. Now, who's Judah Leerdam? She is the girlfriend of Jake Paul. You guys know Jake Paul, the annoying part of the Paul brothers, right? She's the girlfriend of Jake Paul, and she is Dutch. Now, during the Super Bowl, she was winning a gold medal. Like literally within 24 hours of the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl, she was making news because she was winning her gold medal. And she was, again, she's Jake Paul's girlfriend. She was all over the news feeds. She was plastered all over everything. And I was asking, why is she all over the place, this girl? And she was Dutch, right? And I had never done a decode on anything Dutch before my entire decoding life. Not one time. But until her. But what happens? The Seahawks win the Super Bowl. She wins the gold medal the next day. And then the next day so guys, February 8th, the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, okay? The next day, Judah Leerdam wins a gold medal, and she's all over the news for the Dutch. The next day, on February 10th, There was a shooting in British Columbia by a shooter by the name Jesse Van Rootselaar. Guys, he's Dutch, okay? His name is Dutch. What are the odds? You had a Dutch girl being all over the news. Just north of Seattle, you have a shooter with a Dutch name in Tumbler Ridge. Now remember, that was all connected to the death because what happened the next day? So you guys see this is a growing riddle. You have the Super Bowl victory with the V, right? Victory, V for victory. You have the victory of Judah Leerdam, the Dutch. You have the shooting by the Dutch person. Then you have the victory parade the next day, okay? Victory parade, V. But what happens during the victory parade? The death is announced of a guy named James Van Der Beek. And guys, can you guys tell me any other very famous actor who has a Dutch last name as in your face as James Van Der Beek? Just give me one. I can't think of any other one, okay? To be honest, I know a lot of actors and actresses, but if there's one Dutch actor that stands out among the rest, it's James Van Der Beek. His name is clearly Dutch. And he died the day of the victory parade. And right after the shooting in British Columbia of the Dutch shooter, okay? So again, you have a Dutch winning a gold medal. You have a shooter just north of Seattle with a Dutch name. On the day of the victory parade, you have a Dutch actor dying. Now look at how amazing this is. From the Super Bowl victory to the finals of the World Cup on July 19th, it's exactly 23 weeks, guys. 23 weeks. Why is that important? Guys, we just talked about how vanadium is the 23rd element, V for victory. From the 23 victory of the Seattle Seahawks to the World Cup final is 23 weeks. Guys, it's the 23rd World Cup. Think about that. That was perfectly scripted, folks. From the winning of the Seahawks to the World Cup final, where the team is going to be victorious and win the World Cup, is 23 weeks. It's the 23rd World Cup, okay? That's perfect. Now, the World Cup happened in King County. The Seahawks, right? The victory parade happened in King County. That sums to 23, folks. 23 weeks after King County wins the Super Bowl, you're going to have the final, okay? Now, Donald equals 23. We're going to talk a lot about Orange Man Donald, okay? Donald was in the 23rd WrestleMania, WWE, okay? So this is a huge number. Also, more 23s. We're going to talk about Lions. Lion equals 23. The abbreviation for the Dutch football team sums to 23. You guys see this? Royal Dutch Football Association. It sums to, also known as the KNVB, sums to 23. Okay? Now, this is what's crazy. Think about this. I'm talking about the letter V. But if you spell the word in Dutch for football, what does it start with? What does it start with? Is that a coincidence that the Dutch word for football just happens to start with the letter V? Remember, the V makes an F sound. They're in group F. Football starts with an F in American, in English, but it starts with a V in Dutch. Okay? That equals 23. The Dutch word for football equals 23. Notice how it has the ET in it, and we're having all this alien stuff going on. It has the Dutch word for football literally has ET in the middle. But anyway, it equals 23. But what also equals 23? The word alien. Are we not having all the alien stuff going on? So alien equals 23. Football in Dutch equals 23. The name of the abbreviation of their team equals 23. Spain equals 23. And we're going to talk about Spain and how it connects to the Dutch. Okay. Again, this is comprehensive research, guys, and no one can doubt this. We're going to go really deep, and this is going to probably be a long decode, but we're going to go really deep. FIFA even sums to 23. So do you guys see how important this number 23 is for this 23rd World Cup? FIFA sums to 23, okay? In the same cipher as the Dutch team, so the abbreviation, okay? So we've covered the 23. We talked about how it's all connected with the V element and victory, right? So it was 23 weeks from the Super Bowl victory to the final, okay? The word final starts with F. They're in group F. V sounds like an F. There's a connection between the F and the V, right? So what do you guys think so far? Is this a coincidence? The Dutch ice skater winning the gold as the Seahawks are winning the championship. But guys, let me tell you something that I just found out today that brings this all together. So the King County, Seattle, Washington. Guess who was one of the founders of King County, Seattle, Washington? Let's look this up. It's a guy by the name of Henry Van Asselt. And guess what nationality he is? Let's just read about this guy, Henry. Henry Van Asselt died in Seattle, guys. Was a Dutch immigrant to the U.S. and one of the first Europeans to settle the area that is now Seattle, Washington. He came to the area in 1847 and was the longest surviving white settler of King County, Washington. Do you guys get what you're seeing here? I just found this out today. I didn't even know this. I put this whole decode together about, Netherlands, and I had no idea that the guy who founded Seattle, one of the guys, and one of the longest living founder of Seattle, was a guy named Henry Van Asselt. And he's got the V, Van, guys. Vanadium is the what? The 23rd element, and it's the V, vanadium, Van. The Dutch name Van means from. Van means from in Dutch. But yeah, the founder of Seattle is a Dutch guy. And again, when you find these things out after you're already on a riddle and you're like, okay, well, what's the chance of that? Okay, what is the odds? I mean, there's a lot of countries, but it just happened to be that a Dutch guy was the longest living founder of Seattle. Okay. And Seattle won the Super Bowl 23 weeks before the World Cup. Okay. And V is the 23rd element. Okay. And his name is Van, and Van is in the 23rd element, vanadium. But it gets even better because on the day that Judah Leerdam was winning her gold medal, you have V, the 23rd element. On the same day that James Van Der Beek died, the Dutch guy, right? A guy named Bud Cort died. Bud Cort. Why is that interesting? Because his initials are 2-3, like the number 23. BC is 2-3. Guys, Bud Cort, not only are his initials 2-3, he played in the movie The Number 23. You guys remember that movie with Jim Carrey? Bud Cort died the same day that James Van Der Beek died, right after the Dutch skater, right? Bud Cort died the same day as I covered this 4 months ago, folks. But it all came together in my mind when I started putting the pieces together because the 23 weeks after the Super Bowl is the World Cup final. The guy from the movie The Number 23 died on the same day that the Dutch guy died. And again, his initials are 2-3. He played the king in the movie called The Little Prince. Now, who's the current Prince of Wales? It's William. And we're going to talk about why William is important in just a moment. But Bud Cort played the king and he played the number 23. He played Sirius Leary, like the dog star. I could talk a lot about Sirius, but we're not going to talk about Sirius here. But anyway, he was in the number 23. This all happened at the same time. All this Dutch stuff was going on. And guys, do you remember back then during all this stuff happening? I was asking you guys on a live stream. I was like, what's going on with all the Dutch stuff? I've never seen Dutch symbolism ever in all of my 4 years of decoding. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing a Dutch guy dies, a Dutch shooter, a Dutch girl winning. What's going on with the Dutch? And I asked this before April when the ship that came from the Dutch brought the virus to the north. We'll get to that. But it's obvious. There's something going on with the Dutch this year. It's just obvious. But here we are. Now let's talk about the ship. After all this stuff happened, what was the thing that happened 2 months later in April? Let me show you how the Dutch ship, the Hondius, was a perfect riddle for World Cups. This whole ship was about the World Cups, guys. It was all about the World Cup, okay? Let me show you. First of all, the Dutch ship MV, has the V in there, has the V, MV Hondius, left. First of all, it's a Dutch ship, if I haven't made that clear. It was a Dutch ship, okay? But it was in Argentina, okay, when it left. Why is that important that it left Argentina? Well, because Argentina is the country that won the last World Cup. Okay, so there's your first clue. Argentina won the 2022 World Cup. The ship, the Dutch ship, leaves from Argentina with a Dutch passenger, a 70-year-old Dutch man named Leo. Now, here's the clue, Leo. We just got Pope Leo in the United States. This World Cup is going to be taking place in the United States. But who won the World Cup for Argentina in 2022? Oh, was it not Leo Messi? How perfect. You guys see what I'm getting at here? This ship leaving from Argentina is like passing the baton, right, to the next World Cup. The last World Cup was won by Argentina. Now, Pope Francis, who was the Argentine Pope, he died and passed the baton to Leo. And the Dutch guy, Patient Zero, who's 70 years old, just like Pope Leo, 70, he gets sick and dies on the Dutch ship on April 11th. April 11th. Now, if you guys remember, there was something else big going on April 11th, specifically in the sky. So we had something going on in the sea and we had something going on in the sky on April 11th. But what happened after that, guys? This is the clue. This is what makes it so obvious that this is all about the World Cups. So the Argentina thing is clear, right? The last World Cup, the popes, all connected with Argentina and Dutch. What happened next? Well, the wife of the Dutch guy who died on the ship, she gets off the ship and she goes to South Africa. Now, this is the huge clue, guys. I want you guys to remember this the whole stream because this is the huge clue that something is going on with the World Cup in 2010. Why am I talking about the World Cup in 2010? Because the Dutch woman getting off and going to South Africa, which is also at the tip and the bottom of the world, okay? So just like Ushuaia, Argentina was the bottom of the world Cup in 2010 was in South Africa. Let me pull this up. You guys need to see this. World Cup 2010. When did the World Cup in 2010 start? June 11th? Wait a minute. When does the World Cup this year start? June 11th. So there's your first thing. But look, who was in the World Cup final in 2010? Let me find it. Guys, do you see? Do you see who was in the World Cup final in 2010? It was Netherlands and Spain. Now, this whole thing is going to connect to these two countries because their history runs deep, these two countries. And you got to know history to understand this. But let's go back. Remember, we have the Argentina thing. We have the last World Cup was in Argentina, Leo, all that stuff. But the wife of Leo, the Dutch guy, gets off. She goes to South Africa. South Africa is the World Cup that the Netherlands last played Spain in, okay? The widow gets off in South Africa, which is where Netherlands played Spain in 2010. Okay, here's the final right there. Now, where does the ship go next? The ship goes to Spain. Guys, how can this not be clear? Okay. The ship goes to Spain after South Africa. What happened in South Africa in 2010? Oh, it was Spain versus Netherlands. Oh, where did the ship go after it went to Spain? It went to Netherlands because it was a Netherlands ship. So how is this ship not connected to the World Cups? And how is it not connected? How is it not connected to the World Cup in 2010, which featured Netherlands and Spain in South Africa? All the countries that are involved here are all pointing to 2010 and the World Cup in 2010. Now, does that mean that there's going to be a repeat? That the World Cup final this year is also going to be Spain and Netherlands? No, it doesn't mean that. It could mean something else. But at the end of the day, this is too much of a undeniable coincidence that this is not about that, okay? Now, if you guys know the history of Netherlands and Spain, you guys will also understand by the end of this decode why it's all about Netherlands and Spain, okay? Remember, Spain equals 23. I already showed that. So it would make sense for Spain to go to the final for the World Cup 23. But let's just keep going. Also, let me say something. When you mix the colors of Spain together, when you mix the red and the yellow, you get orange. Okay, so that's also something to think about. When you mix the colors of Spain, red and orange, or red and yellow, you get orange. Okay, so think about that. Also, this ship got off in Spain. It disembarked in Tenerife, Spain on May 10th. And then the vessel finally returned to the Netherlands on May 18th. So not even that long ago, the vessel came to Netherlands. Now we got to talk about the William and the Orange, because this is where we're going to dive deep into the history. So the whole country of Netherlands is so interesting because it's all about Orange and William. Like literally, the whole country is literally focused on two things. And those two things are the name William and the color orange. So name me another country in the whole world that has like such a weird riddle to it. Like a whole country is basically based around a name and a color. So that's just weird. But there's a reason for it. So let's just go through this real fast. The history. The William or Willem and the Netherlands. The connection between the name William and the Netherlands centers on the House of Orange-Nassau, which has led the country since its founding. Multiple Dutch monarchs and leaders named William have shaped the nation's history, most notably William the Silent, who is the father of the fatherland. But that's interesting because in Dutch, the name father is spelled with a V. Let me show you this. So let me just type in English to Dutch. Spell the word father. It starts with a V. Okay. Again, they're in Group F, Netherlands. They're in Group F. And again, they called William the Silent the father of the fatherland. So essentially, if you type that in, father of the fatherland, It's literally, look at this word, Vater des Vaterlands, right? I don't know if I'm saying that completely right. Yeah, it's also in German too, right? Well, yeah, it's just a little different. But yeah, it's the same. You get two V's here. You get father, you get the V and V, right? So it again goes back to the V's. So again, we're going to keep going with that. So you had William the Silent, and then his line, right? William Stadtholder William King William the Third, King William the First, the Second, and the Third. And now today, guess who's the name of who the king of Netherlands is today? Yeah, his name is Willem. So they literally don't change, right? It's a lot of Williams, okay? King William Alexander is the king and head of state of Netherlands since 2013. They celebrate Koningsday on his birthday. So he's the king. Remember, who won the Super Bowl? Did I not already connect this to the Dutch and the Super Bowl? Where was the victory parade held during the Super Bowl? Was it not in King County? King County? Now we're talking about King of Netherlands, whose name is William. Okay. But guys, this is where it really starts getting interesting, because let's fast forward to April again. We went from February with all the Dutch stuff, and now here we are in April. Now, what happened in April? The royal visits are the perfect timeline. Is this a World Cup riddle? Let's go through what happened. On April 13th and 14th, 2026, William Alexander of the Netherlands visited Trump at the White House. There's your first event, okay? Just keep this in mind. Yeah, I see your comments. You guys keep repeating things. Somebody said Darth Vader equals the Moors of Spain who introduced oranges. Yeah, we'll get to those comments. Save those things for when I'm done with the presentation, because those are great additions. But yeah, thank you for because those are things I didn't know, okay? So anyway, the King William Orange visits Trump in April, okay? But who comes next? It was King Charles. Now, what's the son of King Charles? Oh, isn't it William? And if William becomes king, will he not be the fifth? And isn't V not the fifth Roman numeral? So if William, the son of Charles, becomes king, will he not be William the Fifth? Let's just look this up. Does this not go perfectly with everything I'm talking about? It's all about William the V, right? But if William, let me just type it in. William, Prince of Wales. And you guys know I was talking about this all year, by the way, this Prince of Wales, William. William, Prince of Wales, be the fifth, or V? When William assumes the throne, he will be known as William V. I mean, so we're talking about a country with the V, all the V stuff. We're talking about the orange. Now we're talking about a William, and the son of Prince Charles or King Charles is William. He will be William V. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, you guys can put that together. But so just after William of Netherlands visited Trump, the Orange Man, we're going to get to that, the Orange Man, King Charles visited Trump that same month. But what's crazy about this is King Charles visited Trump in connection to William of Netherlands. How can I prove that? Well, look at this. When King Charles arrived to meet Trump, it was on the birthday of King William of Netherlands. What's the odds of that? He visits Trump in early April. Then when King Charles comes on this guy's birthday. But not only did Charles arrive on King William of Netherlands' birthday, he left on April 30th, which is the day that King William became King of Netherlands. Guys, how is that not perfect? King Charles literally visited, came on the birthday of King William of Netherlands, and left on the day he became king. Is that the whole thing was about him? The whole thing was about William of Netherlands, who met with Trump earlier in the month. And remember, they were celebrating Koenigsdag on the 27th. And who came to Trump on the 27th? Well, it was King Charles, whose son is William. But look at this. From the visit, okay, so April 27th is the day that King William of Netherlands was born, and April 30th is the day he became king. Okay, just keep those two dates in mind. So let me just keep, so 83 is the gematria of football. Okay, that's what they call it in most of the world. 83 is the 23rd prime number. Well, it's the 23rd World Cup. King equals 23. So 83, why am I talking about 83? Not only because it's the 23rd World Cup, but if you go from the day that King Charles arrived to meet Trump on William's birthday, how many days was it to the World Cup final, I think? Hold on, let me make sure this is right. Yeah, okay. Guys, it was 83 days from King Charles visiting Trump on William of Netherlands' birthday to the World Cup final. 83 days, right? 83 is the gematria of football. This will be the football final. Remember, 83 is the 23rd prime number. It's the 23rd World Cup. But if you go from the day that King Charles left the United States, and I want to reiterate this, guys, they were visitors, okay? King Charles and King William were visitors to the United States. What is the World Cup about ready to do to the United States? It's about ready to bring visitors. Do you get why I'm making this connection? You had two kings visiting Trump in April, and now the World Cup is going to bring all the visitors to the United States. So it's like a visit, right? You're visiting the United States. Maggie McComb says in 1983, there was a total solar eclipse on June 11th. Wow. I'm going to have to look into that. That could be big. I did not know that. Thank you, Maggie. I'm going to look at, try to remind me at the end. I'm going to try to look into that. But if you go 80 days, so from the day that King Charles left remember, King Charles left on the day that William became king, April 30th. But if you go from the day that King Charles left on King William's birthday to the World Cup final, it's 80 days. Why is this important? Because guess when the Netherlands is playing their first World Cup game in the United States? Oh, look at that. Netherlands is playing their first World Cup game on Trump's 80th birthday. 80th birthday, guys. 80 days after King Charles left on King William's birthday is the World Cup final. Now, you guys are going to have to know why the 80 is so important here. Trump is going to turn 80, but it's way bigger than that because the 80 actually connects Spain and Netherlands. Okay, remember, I already laid this out. You guys got to go back and watch. I already laid out the ship Hondius and how it's connected to Spain and Netherlands. But the Spain and Netherlands are connected with the number 80. And I'm going to show you how. And it's clear as day. But before we get to the 80, we got to cover the 60 because that's another big number. Remember, Trump won the 60th election. Okay? Donald Trump is the orange man. He won the 60th election. In gematria, the color orange equals 60. Okay? Donald Trump equals 60. And Netherlands equals 60. So let me just show you it in the calculator. Let me just type in the 60s, okay? So look at this. Donald Trump equals 60 in the same cipher, guys, as Netherlands. Same cipher. But remember, Netherlands is all about the color orange, and so is Trump. But look at what the color orange equals. 60. Okay, this is not a coincidence, folks. In fact, if we type in the number 48, oh, would you look at that? Donald Trump has a 2-cipher match to Netherlands. And why is the 48 important? Because this is the first World Cup to ever feature 48 teams. So the Netherlands equals 48. This is the first World Cup to feature 48 teams. Donald Trump equals 48. This will be the World Cups in the United States where Donald Trump is president. But look at how perfect this is. So now that we know that all these things equal 60, look how many days it was, guys. This is so key. Look how many days it was from the visit of the House of Orange to Donald Trump at the White House. Again, King William of the House of Orange visits Trump at the White House on April 13th. If you measure from that day to the World Cup World Cup beginning, it's 60 days. Again, orange equals 60. This was the visit of the orange to the White House. Orange equals 60, Donald Trump equals 60, Netherlands equals 60. 60 days later, the World Cup starts. That's pretty clear. Remember, the Netherlands plays their first game on Trump's 80th birthday. Not a coincidence, folks. But now, a few weeks later, we get this story, and I think this was a huge clue, folks. I think it was a huge clue. Remember, 60 days from Trump visiting, or the visiting of the Orange King to Trump, right? To the start. But look what happens 60 days before the final of the World Cup. Guys, there was literally a story of a chemical leak in Garden Grove in Orange County, California, exactly 60 days before the World Cup final. Again, what does 60 equal? Orange. Guys, the whole story was about Orange County. That's what all the articles were reporting. A chemical leak in Orange County 60 days before the final. Orange equals 60. I didn't even cover this story, but this was what it was about. Because again, 60 days before that was the visit of the Orange King to Trump. Do you guys get it? The Orange King visits Trump 60 days before the final start. Then Orange County has a meltdown 60 days before the final. It's too perfect. Especially considering orange, the color orange equals 60. It's its main gematria, okay? And remember, Trump won the 60th election, which is orange. He's the orange man. It's clear as day. He makes his home in Florida. What's Florida all about? Oranges. we might touch on Florida, actually. But guys, it's going to get even more mind-blowing. But we got to touch on the 80 again. Remember, the first World Cup game by the Netherlands Orange will be on his 80th birthday. Guys, the House of Orange Nassau is the name of the House of the Kingdom of Netherlands. And look, House of Orange Nassau, the name of the house equals 80. Guys, the first game from the House of Orange is on Trump's 80th birthday. Now, the founder of the House of Orange, in Dutch, his name is William de Swigger. I don't even know how to say that. It equals 80. Guys, this whole thing, why is Netherlands, the Orange team, playing their first game on the 80th birthday of the Orange Man? It's so clear. It's so clear. It's in your face clear. And notice that there's a guy on the team named Memphis, okay? That Memphis. And that's big too. But we're not going to dive into that right now. Okay, so now that we've cleared that up, let's get to the most mind-blowing part. I put all of these pieces together, most of them, but I didn't find out this until towards the end. Oh, before we get to that, why is the 80 so important? Here's the big reveal about the 80. Guys, remember, in 2010, I already talked about this. 2010, the whole ship, the Hondias, was connected to the Spain versus Netherlands World Cup from 2010. Okay. We talked about Trump's 80th birthday. We talked about how the House of Orange Nassau equals 80. The founder of the house equals 80. But look at this. There was a war between Spain and Netherlands called the 80 Years' War. Are you kidding me? Guys, this is like a mic drop. In their history, there is literally a war called the 80 Years' War. Why is the Netherlands playing on Trump's 80th birthday? Well, here's why. It's all about Spain and Netherlands. It's pointing you back to the 80 Years' War. It has to be. What else is it talking about? Again, Netherlands was in an 80 Years' War with Spain. And it gets even deeper than that. Okay? We're going to take it even deeper. It goes really deep. Now, the Netherlands were trying to get independence from Spain. Okay? And yeah, the coach of Netherlands, Ronald, his name is Ronald, very close to Donald, kind of like Ronald Reagan, right? We had all this Ronald Reagan stuff recently. Ronald Koeman is the coach of the Dutch. Now, what day of the year is he born on? He's born on March 21st. What day of the year is March 21st? It's the 80th day of the year, guys. The coach of the Netherlands is born on the 80th day of the year. And now he's going to be playing his first game with the country that's connected with the number 80 on Trump's 80th birthday. Koeman. Is it spelled Koeman? Okay. Thank you for helping my pronunciations. But okay, so just remember that the coach for Netherlands born on the 80th day of the year. Okay, that's a big part. So the 80 Years' War, we got that down now. But guys, are you ready for it? Raise your hand in the chat if you guys are ready for how crazy this next part's going to be. Because again, I put all this orange stuff together before I looked into the song by Shakira. And I figured out why Shakira did a song called Die, Die. And just wait till you see this. Here we go. Shakira released a song for the World Cup called Die, Die. She did in the video. She was standing on the victory statue of Nike. Guys, in Mexico, she was standing on the statue of Nike. Nike is the goddess of victory. V. The song is called Die, Die, which in Spanish means come on, come on. But the key here was you had to do your research, because look at what a die die is in Japanese. Look at this. This should blow your minds clear off, man. A die die is an orange in Japanese. What? A die die is an orange in Japanese. Let that sink in. This is the theme song for the World Cup, folks. Now, who's the first team that the Orange are playing on Donald Trump's birthday? It's Japan. Again, a die is an orange in Japanese. The first team they're playing is Japan. I mean, is this not... Guys, please hit the likes. Please. I put so much work into this, and I don't think I can make it any more clear. Now, this game between the Netherlands and Japan, when Japan is a die as an orange, is being played in Dallas, Fort Worth. And what is the name of the train station in Dallas, Fort Worth? Oh, it's called the Orange Line. Are you coding me? This first game between Japan and Netherlands is in the place that has the train system called the Orange Line. On Donald Trump, Orange Man's birthday, his 80th birthday, when the Dutch are connected to the 80-year war, and the fruit that she mentions, the name of the song is Die Die, which is an orange. Now, I need to make this clear that this is not just any orange. This is a bitter orange. Let's just pull up Die Die. We got to pull up this orange, okay? So here's your Die Die, right? This is the name of your World Cup song, okay? Now, the other name for Die Die is Spanish. Wait a minute. Are we not talking about Spain and Netherlands? And now Netherlands is playing Japan, and Japan is a Die Die orange, right? But it's a bitter orange. Bitter orange. Now, people in the chat are saying Netherlands will win, but let's not jump ahead here. Remember, Spain beat the Netherlands in 2010. The name Die Die for the song is actually Spanish for come on, come on. Remember, when you put the two colors together of the Spain flag, it makes orange. Yellow and red make orange, folks. So don't jump to conclusions too fast. And again, I don't want anyone betting on this, but this is clear what's going on. It's a bitter orange. So it's not good tasting, guys. It's bitter. So does that mean it's going to be a bitter end for the Netherlands? Right? I don't know, guys. You guys make of what you want, but I think I'm laying out where else are you getting such a comprehensive deep dive into this? Like, again, there's clearly something going on with orange. But is it a bitter orange or is it a sweet orange? I don't know. The song title would tell you it's a bitter orange. So we'll see. But again, Orange Line is how mind-blowing is that, guys? The place where they're playing the first game is in Dallas and they have the Orange Line. It's ridiculous. But actually, let's go to the song itself and let's look at the lyrics. Is there any clues? Here's the lyrics to her song, Die Die. Notice that right after it says Die Die, which is Spanish, and right after it says Die Die in the lyrics, it says Japanese. Guys, here's your Japanese connection again. But let's go to the bottom of the lyrics. And she starts listing off all these names of these players and all these countries. And I want you guys to focus on what's the last country. You guys got to go listen to the song, but she sings all these names and all these countries. What's the last country she sings? Netherlands? Is that a coincidence? And look at what she sings second to last or third to last, Japan. So Japan is your bitter orange, your Die Die. Then she sings Korea, which is interesting. But the last country she sings is Netherlands. I mean, why? Why? Can anyone in the chat tell me why? I mean, if you're going to list off all these countries, is it why did they choose to sing Netherlands last? Why were the lyrics written like that? It's not because there was a rhyme. It wasn't because it was rhyming, but for some reason they chose to sing Netherlands as the last country in the lyrics. Okay? I just want you guys to think about that. And again, I already told you that this, all the other connections. Again, Die Die is a fruit, but after she sings Die Die, she sings Dai Dai Iku. Well, Iku is Japanese for let's go. So essentially, she's singing in her chorus, she's singing the words orange, which is die die, aiku, which is let's go. So she's essentially singing the words let's go orange. Like if you translate it, die die is orange, aiku is let's go, so orange let's go. That's what she's singing. And again, who is Netherlands playing in the first game? She's singing. She's singing about she's singing Japanese, guys. The Orange are playing Japan in the first game on Trump's birthday. So again, she mentions Netherlands last. She's singing a song that can mean orange, and she's singing "Let's Go Orange" essentially in Japanese. And again, they play the Japanese. It's too much, man. But look at this. So let me highlight some very important numbers here before we go too far. The 2026 World Cup is the first World Cup to feature 48 teams. This is up from 16 teams and 16 host cities. So the World Cup final this year, or the World Cup expanded from 32 teams to 48. What's the difference between 48 and 32, guys? Okay. What's 48 minus 32? Let me just do it. 48 minus 32 is 16. Okay, so there were 16 teams added to get to 48. That leads you to the year 1648. Okay, so are you guys following me in the chat with this? 16 teams were added to get the total to 48. Okay, so you're getting the year 1648. Now, this is actually so crazy because this is such an important year. Look at this. When did the 80-year war, remember, I'm talking about Spain and Netherlands, the 80-year war, okay? First of all, Shakira's full name equals Dutch Republic in Latin. That's already mind-blowing enough. Look at this. Shakira Isabel Mebarak Ripple. There's a lot I could say about this name right here. She has Barack in her name and she has Ripple in her name. I talk a lot about Ripple and a lot about Barack, but let's not even get there yet. Let's just talk about this. Spanish officially recognized the Dutch independence at the end of the 80-year war in 1648. The Peace of Munster was solemnly published and announced in a town of Munster on May 15th, 1648. Guys, they just added 16 teams to get to 48. It's been 16 years since the Netherlands played Spain in the World Cup final, and in 1648, Spain recognized the Dutch Republic's independence on May 15th. When did Shakira release her song called Standing on the Statue of Independence in Mexico? She released it on May 15th. Okay? She released it on May 15th. Did you guys get that? Because if you guys got that, it should blow your mind. The Peace of Munster is the official recognition of the Spanish giving independence to the Dutch after the 80-year war. Yeah, Die is Italian. I did misspeak on that. Thank you. But it's a Spanish singer is what I meant. That's what I meant by it. Because I did know it was Italian, but I got my words mixed up. But I don't want people in the chat to focus on that right now. I want people to focus on what I'm showing you because this might be the most mind-blowing part of the decode. 16 teams added. Can I get some feedback in the chat if you guys are understanding this? Because I know it's a little bit complicated. Are you guys getting this? How mind-blowing this is? I'm literally giving you 16 teams being added to get 48. That gives you the year 1648. It's been 16 years since Spain and Netherlands played. Now, 16 years after their World Cup final, where Spain beat the Netherlands in the year 1648, Spain gave independence to the Netherlands on May 15th, the day that Shakira released her song called Die Die. It was on May 15th. So Die Die was released on the 378th anniversary of the Spanish recognizing the independence of the Dutch. And look, Dutch Republic equals Shakira's name. Are you kidding me? Dutch Republic even equals her name, guys. But what's even crazier is if you go from the World Cup final in 2010, where the Dutch played the Spanish, the final was 161 days after the Peace of Munster, and Peace of Munster equals 161. But if you go from the World Cup final in 2010 to the World Cup final this year, it's 16 years and 10 days. If you drop the 0, it's 161. Guys, Peace of Munster equals 161. They literally paid tribute to the Peace of Munster in the World Cup in 2010. There's no denying that. Because on that day, the World Cup, Spanish beat the Netherlands 161 days after the Peace of Munster. That's the gematria of Peace of Munster. Just let me show you so you guys can see. Peace of Munster equals 161. The Spain beat Netherlands 161 days after the anniversary of Peace of Munster. And then 16 years and 10 days after the Spain beat Netherlands in 2010 is the World Cup final this year. Just like 161, okay? Now, not only, look at this, not only did Spain beat the Netherlands 161 days after the Peace of Munster, they beat the Netherlands on William of Orange's death anniversary. I mean, what a tribute, man. In 2010, Spain beat Netherlands on the anniversary of William of Orange's death anniversary. Let me just prove that to you. They beat the Netherlands on July 10th, 2010, okay? William of Orange who is in the line. Wait, which one was it? Okay, yeah. The guy who literally founded the House of Orange, William the Silent, he died on July 10th. When Spain beat the Netherlands in 2010, it was on his death date. I mean, they clearly paid tribute to it, folks. Remember, he was the one that started the 80-year war, essentially. Well, he didn't start it, but he got the revolution started, okay? And then it led to the 80-year war between Spain and Netherlands. And then Spain and Netherlands, they've played each other on the death anniversary of this guy. And that Netherlands lost, right? Because it was the death anniversary of this guy. So they lost, of course. Decoding already, Cody. Did you know that today is the 12th National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and you are supposed to wear the color orange in honor of this day? No, I had no idea. Are you freaking kidding me, man? I decided to do this video today out of all days. I didn't know this. What is it? National Gun. Oh my gosh. Wear orange, guys. What the? I had no idea. This is organic, folks. I decided to do this stream today. I had no idea this was happening. Are you kidding me? I could have done this video 4 days ago. I could have done this 4 days later because I had it prepared a while ago. But I just all of a sudden said, okay, I'm just going to do this video today. And today is all about orange? Oh. Man, I don't know if that's God giving me a confirmation or I don't know what it is, but that's crazy, man. Thank you, Decoding Our Reality. Whew. Man, I'm gonna start sweating up in here. My energy's going up. I'm getting a little hot. When my brain really gets going, it's better than a workout. Anyway, we're not even done, guys. We got so much more. We got way more. Now we got to go to the site of the World Cup final, okay? Look at this. The World Cup final is taking place in Bergen County, New Jersey, in MetLife Stadium. Look at this. Just south of Bergen County is the Oranges. So just south of the stadium where the World Cup final is taking place, there's a group of cities called the Oranges. City of Orange, East Orange, West Orange, and South Orange. Not only that, but Bergen County, where the World Cup final is taking place, it once used to be the site of the 17th century Dutch colony called New Netherland. Before the British took control of the region, Dutch settlers established New Jersey's first permanent European settlement in 1660, naming it the Bergen Township, located in what is now modern-day Jersey City. When the county was officially formed in 1683, it inherited this Dutch name. Guys, after everything I've showed you, the World Cup final is being played on the grounds of the former New Netherland, and it's located just north of current cities named the Oranges. No, it's impossible, folks. And don't forget how Trump loves New Jersey, and Trump is the Orange Man, and Trump met with the Orange president in April. Okay, or he met with the Orange King 60 days before the World Cup when orange equals 60. Okay, so Bergen County is the home of former Netherlands, the New Netherland. Okay. I mean, again, if Netherlands doesn't win this or if they don't get to the final, you guys can just say there's multiple riddles going on. We know this. But I can never be 100% sure of any decode, and neither should you guys. We should never be 100% sure of anything. But it's just it's so perfect, guys. It's so perfect in every way. You got the the orange on Trump's birthday, his 80th birthday, the 80-year war, the connection with the 1648 year when the independence, Shakira's song was released on the anniversary of that independence between Spain and Netherlands. She's on the victory statue. Her song means bitter orange in Japanese, and that's the first game is against Japan in the city that has the orange line. And the finals being played just north of the Oranges in a county that was founded by the Dutch. It's too much, man. It's too much. But we got even some. So now we got to talk about the date of the World Cup final. The date of the World Cup final is so important in Dutch history. Wait, National Orange Juice Day is on June 11th? Is that what I'm reading in the chat? If that's true, that's going to blow my mind. National Orange Juice Day? Wait. It says May 4th. Oh, it's on May 4th. So what Congressional National Orange Juice Day reception, June 11th. What does that mean? Can anyone in the chat clarify what that means? Somebody in the chat wrote National Orange Juice Day, Congressional National Orange Juice Day. Let me just type congressional. I don't know if that makes a difference. Let me just type in June 11th. I don't know. I might be missing something. The congressional celebration of National Orange Juice Day on Capitol Hill takes place on June 11th? What does that even mean? Are you kidding me? Congressional Orange, let me just read this. What the heck? No way. The congressional celebration of National Orange Juice Day on Capitol Hill takes place on June 11th, hosted by Florida House DC, alongside Florida lawmakers and Florida citrus growers. During this time, thousands of mini bottles of fresh orange juice are distributed to congressional staffers. Are you coding me, folks? If this is not the best decode I've ever done, I don't know what is. I'm telling you, overall, this has to be the best decode I've ever done. And even if it doesn't, if Netherlands doesn't even do, I don't know. If it doesn't happen, whatever. But still, this is all too perfect. And now you're telling me that the beginning of the World Cup is Congressional National Orange Juice Day, and it all connects back to Florida, where Trump is from, well, where he's based out of, essentially. Florida House, DC, June 11th. We had our biggest National Orange Juice Day celebration. I cannot believe this, folks. So wait, today is National Orange Day. What? Hold on, guys. Sean's saying today is National. Okay, there's so much Orange Days, man. National Orange Day. Well, maybe Sean, you're talking about the wear orange for the guns. Is that what you're talking about? Because this is happening today, and I didn't know this either. Yeah. So Sean, somebody in the chat, decoding our reality, he already told me this earlier, and it already blew our minds because this is totally organic, folks. I did not know this was happening today. I had no idea. This is just crazy, folks. And now we find out that June 11th is the Congressional National Orange Day, and I did a whole decode on the orange and the World Cup, and it literally starts on this day. I can't believe it. Let's keep going though. Let's not. So July 19th, guys, the World Cup final. How is it connected to the country of Netherlands? Look at this. In 1572, the birth of the Dutch Republic, first assembly of the States General, okay? On July 19th, guys, 1572, the most monumental July 19th in Dutch history occurred in 1572 during the early years of the 80 Years' War. On this day, rebel Dutch provinces held their first independent state meeting, known as the First Assembly of Free States. Wait, are you kidding me, guys? The Dutch held their first Assembly of Free States on July 19th, and the World Cup final is on July 19th in a place that's named after the new Netherlands, which is just north of the Oranges. And on July 19th, 1572, they held their first Assembly of Free States. Got Dr. Savage in the house. What's up, doctor? The Orange Order, officially the Loyal Orange Institution, is an international Protestant fraternal organization founded in Northern Ireland. The organization is named after King William III, William of Orange, the Dutch-born Protestant king who defeated the Catholic King James II at the Battle of the Boyne. Wow, there's probably a whole nother layer there from what you just said. But yeah, anyway, guys, July 19th is a huge day in Dutch history. the first assembly of free states against Spain. Again, Spain. Prince William will be 2,300 weeks old on July 19th. No way. Are you? No way. How did I miss this? Guys, no. I'm sorry I'm sounding super dramatic, but that's crazy. If that's true, hold on. Prince William. Where is he? Prince William. Guys, he'll be exactly 2,300 weeks old on the World Cup, on the finals of the World, and 161. 161. Oh my goodness. I am speechless. 2,300 weeks old. Like the 23rd World Cup final will be on that day, folks. 161, 16100 days. I talked about this number too. What's up with the 161? Let's go back. Remember, the Peace of Munster is the formal recognition of the Spanish to the Dutch as their independence. 15th of May, 1648. Like this World Cup is 16 more teams than the last to get a total of 48. This is 16 years after Spain versus Netherlands in the World Cup. That year, in 2010, it was 161 days after the Peace of Munster that Netherlands lost to Spain. Peace of Munster equals 161. But if you go from the 2010 World Cup to this World Cup final, it's 16 years and 10 days, which is like the number 161. Guys, from the 2010 World Cup between Spain and Netherlands, it's 16 years and 10 days, 161. William V, guys, this is all about William V. All this goes back to him, because what did I talk about during the Super Bowl this year? Let's just type this in again. Will William, Prince of Wales, become William the V? Prince William will be known as William V. And now we just found out, thanks to Decoding Our Reality, that on the World Cup final, William will be 16100 days old, or exactly 2,300 weeks old, exactly, on the 23rd World Cup final. Exactly 23 weeks after King County, Washington, won the World Cup as the Dutch figure skater. Again, going back to the very first slide, King County, Washington wins the Super Bowl just the day before the Dutch skater wins the gold medal, just the day before the Dutch shooter shoots up British Columbia. Get it, British? Just before the victory parade, the V, in Seattle, King County, just before the death of the Dutch actor James Van Der Beek. 23 weeks later is the World Cup final, and King William will be 2,300 weeks old. And King equals 23. So all year, I've been talking about King William and how the Super Bowl was connected to Prince William becoming king. And again, shout out to Gematria Book. And Switzerland's also in the chat right now. Those two are the ones that brought my attention to the William riddle with the Super Bowl. And now we're seeing that this whole thing is, again, connected. If the Dutch win, again, do not go bet. Please don't go bet. I don't want this to happen so that, it's tempting. I get it. It's tempting when you see something like this. It's super clear, it looks like, but you never know. You just never know. But at the end of the day, if this whole decode just ends up being completely wrong, I have to eat that. I have to. But you guys understand now why I could not share this. I had to share this. This decode is so solid from beginning to end. I'm not even using a lot of random gematria. I'm barely using any gematria. I'm using all history and date durations. And I'm showing you how perfect it all is. And the fact that Shakira's song is called Die Die, which is the orange. And we're not even done, guys. I have more slides. Look at this. There's a movie called The Oranges. Well, where does this movie take place? It takes place in the Oranges, just south of where the World Cup final will be played this year. Look at this. The main star of the Oranges is Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie, this guy right here. Guess when his birthday is, guys. Somebody drop Hugh Laurie's birthday in the chat, please. The star of the Oranges. Drop his birthday. Somebody go look it up. I just want some chat participation here. Somebody look up Hugh Laurie's birthday and drop it in the chat. And I'll put the comment on the screen. I'll wait for the comment. Who's going to get it first? Write the month and the day, not just a number. Fixed world, you got it right, but write the month. Exactly, guys. June 11th. The actor who plays the lead in The Oranges is born on the June 11th date, which we just found out is the Congressional Orange Juice Day. But that's the start of the World Cup, which is 60 days. Again, let's go back to the 60s. It's 60 days after the Orange King met the Orange Man in the White House. Again, June 11th is 60 days after Orange Man and Orange King met. Orange equals 60. The guy who played in the Oranges, Hugh Laurie, is born on June 11th. So his birthday is 60 days. Hugh Laurie's birthday is 60 days after the Orange Men met, right? Look at this, June 11th. And again, that show takes place just south of the Oranges, or just south of the World Cup final stadium. Bergen in MetLife Stadium is just south. That's what this show is named after, guy. It's named after the Oranges in New Jersey. And again, don't forget, the place where all this is happening is on the ground of the former New Netherland, okay? New York was originally New Netherland, New Jersey, right? But look at this. In 1640, a Charter of Freedom and Exemptions, an entirely new charter, the 1640 Charter of Freedom and Exemptions, was drafted and approved by two factions and enacted by the Dutch Parliament on July 19th, 1640. Guys, so not only did the Dutch Republic hold their first Assembly of Free States on July 19, 1572, years later, on July 19, 1640, the Dutch gave permission to people to invest in land on what is currently where the World Cup will be taking place. That was on July 19th. Again, when is the World Cup final? It's on July 19th in this very place. On this anniversary in 1640, they shaped a land of freedom. Oh my goodness. They literally gave the Dutch people permission to come over and settle on their lands on July 19th, the Charter of Freedoms and Exemptions. And remember, in Dutch, when you have a name called Van der Beek, Van means from. It's all about land. The Van in the Dutch, it all's about where you come from. It's the land that you're from. So when you ever see like Van, actually, we're going to get to that. Actually, that's my next slide. The power of the V and the vanadium and the Vander and the Van, however you say his last name. I always forget it. But again, let's go back to the very first slide. Remember, I talked about vanadium, vanadium. the 23rd element, Van, the 23rd World Cup. Who is the captain of the Dutch team? It's Virgil van. Of course, right? But again, what is the meaning of van? Van means most Dutch names feature van, which is the first three letters of vanadium, right? The 23rd element, the V. Vander comes from the Dutch prefix vander or vanda, meaning from the or of the. Originally used to show where your family lived. An example is Vanderberg, like from the mountains. Okay. You guys are dropping so many good chat. You guys are talking about Vincent van Gogh and Dick Van Dyke and Van Helsing. Man, I'm going to have to look into all those. Those are all great additions. Dick Van Dyke, Van Helsing, Vincent van Gogh. Yeah, of course. But this guy's name is Virgil Van. So he's got two V's. He's got two V's in his initials. Okay. VVD. But what's even crazier, guys, if you just take the color orange and you go to the very, very important Chaldean gematria, look at this. Orange equals 23. Vander, which means from, like his name is Van. But remember how James Van Der Beek died? Van Der Beek. But again, this all goes back to the 5th. King William will be the 5th. Okay? But again, let's go back to, real quickly, let's just go to the Chaldean gematria so I can show you guys the 23s, how the color orange equals 23. So again, what's the odds? This is a very important cipher, very accurate cipher. When I see something in the cipher, I do take it seriously. So orange does sum to 23. This is the 23rd World Cup. You guys are talking about double Dutch. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's keep going. We got a few more slides. I told you this was going to be a long decode. How long are we in here? Please hit those likes if you haven't already. How long into the decode are we? I'm starting to lose my voice. Hour and 32. All right, so back to this whole riddle with King William V. So Netherlands will be playing their second match in the World Cup on the death anniversary of William IV. I mean, what's the odds of that, guys? The Dutch are playing their second cup on the death date of William IV, June 20th. Now, what happens the day after June 20th? Oh, it's the birthday of William, Prince of Wales. Interesting. The Dutch will be playing their third World Cup game on June 25th. What's June 25th? That's one day before the anniversary of the 196th anniversary of William IV becoming King of England. So again, let me reiterate this. We're talking about William IV, right? The next king after William IV of England is William V. So his death date is on June 20th, this guy. The next day is his birthday. 5 days later, get it, guys? 5 days after June 20th, the death anniversary, is the Netherlands' third game. The opponent is Tunisia, I think. But it doesn't matter. I know it says a question mark there for the opponent, but this it's not a question mark. There's actually we know who the opponent is. Doesn't matter right now, though. So 5 days after the death anniversary of William IV is the third match for Netherlands. The next day after the match is the anniversary of him becoming king. So you see how important these days are? From June 20th all the way going to June 25th or 26th is all about the Williams, the William IV of England and William V, okay? So it all connects. And guys, this date, June 26th, which is the anniversary of William IV becoming king, it will be 23 days before the World Cup final, the 23rd World Cup final. Again, what are the odds? 23 days after King William IV became king is the 23rd World Cup final. And again, king sums to 23. 23 days after his birth, after the day he became king. So, I mean, that's even perfect. Like, and remember, how old is William going to be on the World Cup? 2,300 weeks, guys. I mean, it's just, it's all so tight, man. It's all so tight. Like, but yeah, I know that slide's a little hard to explain, but again, but we got one more riddle we got to look at, man. It's not even done. So remember, in April, King William of Netherlands visited Trump, and then King Charles visited Trump on King William's birthday and then left on his King Day, right? But guys, April 30th is so important here because the day that this King William of Netherlands became king was April 30th. Now, whose birthday is April 30th? Another very important guy from this year. Because on the same time that the Hondius was getting sick, the Dutch ship was getting sick, there was a guy going to space, man. And his name was Victor. And look at what color he's wearing. Do you guys get it now? Everything that happened this year is connected to the same riddle, I feel like. On the same day that the Hondius was leaving Argentina, Victor was taking off into space. And Victor is wearing orange and blue. And who wears orange and blue? Well, it's the Netherlands. Remember, April 1st through April 11th was the Artemis II. April 1st through April 11th was the first day of the ship to the first death on the ship, which was the Netherlands guy, right? The guy from Netherlands named Leo. So King Wilhelm has the same king day as Victor. Victor, guys, V again. Are you kidding me? But that's also the Church of Satan's birthday, right? April 30th is the Church of Satan's birthday. Now, how does this all connect to? Satan and the underworld? What does Netherlands mean? Does Netherlands not mean the Netherlands or the underworld? Big shout out to Dr. Savage. That's why Caleb Williams is on the Madden 2026 cover. Wears orange and blue. Exactly. Guys, that's perfect. The Madden cover just got announced. Why did they decide to put Caleb Williams who wears orange and blue? And the Bears even have a full orange uniform. His name is Williams, guys. He just got put on the cover of Madden. So thank you, Dr. Savage, for reminding me of that. But yeah, that's interesting that it's cursed, right? We've had all this Danhausen stuff cursing the Knicks. And let's just talk about the Knicks again. I mean, the Knicks are in the finals. Right? The Knicks are in the finals right now. It's not like this is reaching, saying that there's not an orange thing going on. I mean, we just had Caleb Williams. He wears orange and blue. Now we have the Knicks. They wear orange and blue. But let's go quickly back to the underworld thing. Netherlands can translate to low countries, right? Which is kind of like the underland or the underworld. Remember, when the MV Hondius came from the bottom of the world to the top, right? You remember the path of the Hondius. The Low Countries. Do you guys remember when Netherlands played in the 2010 World Cup? It was in the Low Country. It was in South Africa, which is in the lowest country in the world, essentially. And the MV Hondius came from the Low Country and rose up the world, right? So this riddle here is all about rising tension or rising V words, guys, a rising virus. Are they going to say that the World Cup is going to be used to spread? Now let's talk about the lion for a minute. Remember, Leo is the lion. Okay. The first Dutch guy to get sick on the ship was Leo. He was leaving Argentina, who has Leo Messi as their soccer player. Yeah, I get that South Africa is not actually a low country, but it's when we're speaking of actual on the map, that's what I'm talking about. But it's the lowest part of the world as far as like country, right? It's the lowest you can go on the map. That's what I meant. But as far as altitude goes, I know it's not the lowest land. But the symbolism is still there. You got the lowest part of the earth, just like when the ship Hondius left, it was leaving from the bottom of the world, right? Now, the lion is actually the symbol of Netherlands, okay? Let me try to get through this, guys. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. So again, the rampant lion, the Dutch Republic lion, right? And so we have this lion connection too. You have Leo who just, and remember, Leo is from Chicago. That's perfect, guys. Leo is from Chicago. I mean, there you go. I mean, I think this all kind of ties back to what was just said by Dr. Savage. We just got this album. We just got this cover. This cover for the Bears just got put on the cover of the Madden. Of course, they wear orange and blue. And Pope Leo, lion, right? The symbol of Netherlands is the lion. Underworld lead vampire is Victor. What do you mean? Underworld? What? Wait, Underworld lead actor? Wait, I'm confused. Oh. Guys, there's something really going on here. Wait, so we have Van Helsing, which is like a vampire hunter. But I guess the Victor is the second most powerful vampire in the underworld. Oh man, there's a whole riddle here with like vampires and because you got Van Helsing. Shout out to Switzerland, who's in the chat. She's a decoder. She was talking about vampires around the Super Bowl as well, and I think this kind of connects to that. Yeah, the Netherlands is nicknamed A Clockwork Orange that released on Shakira's birthday. Oh, really? Oh my goodness. But thank you, Switzerland. I'm gonna have to look at that. But Van Helsing, guys, like Van Hell, like out of hell. And remember, Van Halen, we talked about Van Helsing equals 48. Guys, look at this. Look at this. Van Helsing equals Donald Trump in Netherlands. What? Van Helsing, man. Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to think what I was going to say here. Now I've lost my train of thought. Man, I'm going to have to look into Van Helsing. I'm probably going to have to do a whole part 2 about this, maybe. I don't know. Oh, I was going to look at what Switzerland said. Clockwork Orange. Look at this, the upside down V, guys. It's an A, but it's literally a V. If you invert this, the underworld, guys, you invert it. I mean, is that not a V? Is that not a V? So all this stuff comes together perfectly. Nike, oh, I forgot to talk about this. Shakira standing on the Nike statue. Nike is one of the teams that's endorsing. What teams are endorsed by Nike in 2026 World Cup? I believe that no matter what happens, guys, a team that will be wearing Nike will win the World Cup because she's standing on the Nike statue in her World Cup song. And the teams that are being endorsed by Nike, wait, where does it say this? Hold on. What teams are wearing Nike? What teams are wearing Nike in World Cup 2026? Okay, it comes as no surprise that the 3 biggest sportswear brands in the world dominate the landscape. 37 of the 48 teams, despite Italy's failure to qualify. Leading the way is Adidas with 14 teams. But look at this, 12 teams are wearing Nike. So not every team is wearing Nike, guys. Australia, Brazil, Canada, South Korea, Croatia, France, England, Norway, Netherlands, United States, Turkey, and Uruguay. So who's one of the teams wearing Nike? Remember, she's standing on the Nike statue in her song. One of the teams wearing Nike is Netherlands, okay? And England. I mean, a lot of these teams could win it. I mean, South Africa or Brazil could win it. France could win it. England could win it. Netherlands could win it. So there's a lot of teams wearing Nike that could win. And I'm definitely not counting out England because this is all connected to William, who would be the English king. But I just want to hit on that too because that's important, okay? Something with the Nike. That's why she's standing. But let's go back to the Clockwork Orange. This came out on Shakira's birthday. Really? February 2nd, 1972. When was Shakira born again? Shakira. Guys, she was born 5 years after A Clockwork Orange came out. Guys, the 5 is the V. Look. Shakira, born February 2nd, 1977, 5 years after A Clockwork Orange was released in the United States. Are you getting that? 5 years after A Clockwork Orange releases, the V, she's born. And yeah, there's something really big going on here with this movie. I have no doubt about that. It's got to be connected. I'm gonna have to look more into all these movies you guys brought up. Yeah, at the end of the year, there's guys. You guys are bringing up so many good things. Avengers. What is it called? Avengers Doomsday, guys. And who's gonna be the main villain this year? At the end of the year, who's gonna be the main villain? It's Victor Von Doom, the main character of the upcoming series at the end of this year is Robert Downey Jr., who's playing Victor Von Doom. If this does not bring everything together, I don't know what does. It literally has the Victor, it has the V, it has the Von, it has the Dutch connection. Like, this is literally a Dutch name, guys. Victor Von Doom? You can't tell me that's not Dutch. Actually, it's Latvia, huh? So is he not actually Dutch? Even though it seems like his name is Dutch? German? Okay, German, yeah. Victor, still, you got the Victor Von, right? Yeah, you're right. The German is more like the Von. I should know that. I'm learning German, for God's sakes. I should know that. Victor Von Doom, home country. I'll just see it here. Hold on. Latveria. Interesting. Doomstadt. That's German. The capital is Doomstadt. What the heck? I mean, I wouldn't rule out Germany either, guys. I mean, I don't know. But Germany already won recently, so I don't know if I'm... The Dutch connections are definitely stronger. Oh, and I haven't even talked about this yet. But after I did this whole decode, guys, I found out there's a German... Look at this. After I did this whole thing, and this is what makes me a little doubtful. I want to hear your guys' opinion in the chat. There is a German mathematician who's predicted the last 3 World Cup winners perfectly. Mathematician who correctly predicted 3 World Cup winners in a row has named his 2026 pick. Guys, give me some guesses in the chat who this mathematician says will win this World Cup. He's picked the last 3 correctly. I'll give you guys one guess which team he has winning. Drop it in the chat. No, he's not black. This is a player. Yes, guys, look at who he has winning. German mathematician Joachim Clement has predicted the Netherlands will win the World Cup. Guys, are you coding me? Again, he's picked the last 3 correctly, okay? Now, here's the question, and this is what makes me very cautious. This guy's now getting famous for this. I don't know if anyone heard his name before, but he's now getting lots of attention and that the Netherlands will win the World Cup. Is this a trick? Because he's predicted the last 3 correctly. But are they going to finally make him wrong now? I'm afraid of this. This is one of the reasons why I'm very afraid to say, guys, the Netherlands will win. I cannot clearly say that because this makes it way more hard for me to... But maybe everything that I just decoded, right? Everything that I just decoded, this whole decode. Clement, like Clementine. Yeah, that's a good one. Sean in the chat. There's definitely a Vincent van Gogh connection, but I haven't looked into it. The orange is bitter. My question is, guys, are they going to go to the World Cup against Spain again and lose again to Spain? Almost like symbolizing that their freedom doesn't get granted, you know, because Spain is the one who, remember, Spain Spain is the one who granted them their independence. Remember, Shakira was standing on the Statue of Independence for the World Cup in 1648. You know, just like there's 16 more teams to get 48 teams. 16 years ago, the World Cup was Spain and in Netherlands. Okay. I don't know. Do they repeat the same World Cup? I just don't see that happening really, though, either. But the Spain versus Netherlands would make so much sense. Netherlands is currently in 8th place. Yeah. The Netherlands are always, they've been to 3 World Cups, but never won one. So they're like always the bridesmaid. They're always second place, right? 3 times they've been second place. But maybe that's a clue, guys. This German guy has predicted the last 3 World Cups correctly. He got Germany, France, and Argentina the last 3 World Cups. But he says even he's not sure of this, right? He's using some sort of scientific model to predict these World Cups, supposedly. Of course, we know he probably just in the know. Clement has initially set out to demonstrate that predicting the winner was practically impossible. He admitted to Der Spiegel that the first time he used the model in 2014 and got it right, he was shocked. The first time I was horrified when Germany became the world champions in Brazil. Also, because all the experts had pointed that no European team had ever won a World Cup in South America. Clement's model takes into account a number of key variables, such as the country's GDP per capita. Anyway, I'm not going to read all this. You guys can look into this guy. But Ronald Koeman, the coach of Netherlands, has a history with England. Ronald Koeman, history with England. Ronald Koeman's history with England is defined by the notorious 1993 World Cup qualifying controversy, managing the Premier League, and more recently, international classes at manager. The infamous 1994 World Cup qualifier. During the crucial qualifying match in Rotterdam, England striker David Platt broke through on a goal and was cynically hauled down by Koeman. The controversy, despite denying a clear goal scoring opportunity as the last offender, the referee awarded a yellow card. The aftermath. Moments later, Koeman scored a free kick to give Netherlands a 2-0 victory, essentially eliminating England from the 1994 World Cup. So there is a history between the current coach of Netherlands and a controversy that happened with England in 1994. That's just a simple way to put it. So that we could see something like this play out, right? But either way, the Netherlands is obviously a key piece to the year 2026. We already covered how we had the Dutch figure skater, we had the Dutch shooter, we had the Dutch guy die, we had the Dutch ship. So I don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen, guys. But I'm just doing my best to present the information. Also, a few other things I need to mention here. You remember how I told you that the MV Hondius came, it was a Dutch ship, and it came from Argentina? Well, what if I told you that the wife of King William of Netherlands, her name is Queen Maxima? And guess where she's from? Yeah, that's right. Queen Maxima of the Netherlands was born in Argentina, folks. What are the odds of that? The Queen of Netherlands is from Argentina? To go with everything else we've already covered? She just happens to be from all places. I mean, a Netherlands queen is Argentinian. So there's that. Just another interesting fact. Also, let's talk about the team from Netherlands. So remember, the World Cup final. Guys, I'm sorry this decode is so long, but there's just so much to cover. The team from Netherlands, one of the most famous teams that plays in the Netherlands football, their symbol is an F, which is interesting because Netherlands is playing in Group F. But guess when they were founded, guys? Guess when this team, one of the most famous teams in Netherlands football, was founded? July 19th. Are you coding me? Literally the most famous team in the Dutch league is founded on July 19th. The World Cup final is on July 19th. I mean, just look. Feyenoord Rotterdam is a Dutch public football team based in Rotterdam, which plays in, however you say that, the top tier of the Dutch football, founded by Wilhelmina. In 1908, the club changed to various names. So it was founded by a woman with the name Wilhelmina. But not just that, guys. One of the most famous. Yeah, I'm not saying that the most famous, they are the most famous. I'm saying one of the most famous. So I'm sorry if I said it wrong, but I'm just saying that this team is one of the most famous teams in Netherlands. They are founded on July 19th, the same day as the World Cup final. But there's an actor whose name is Rutger Hauer. Look at this. Rutger Hauer was a Dutch actor with the career that spanned 170 roles over nearly 50 years. In 1999, he was named by the Dutch public as the best Dutch actor of the century. So, guys, the best Dutch actor of the century. When did he die? He died on July 19th, the same day as the World Cup final again. Is that another coincidence? The best Dutch actor of the century died on July 19th, the day of the World Cup final. One of the biggest teams, as I just showed you, in Dutch football was founded on July 19th. The Dutch got their... Spain recognized the Dutch independence in 1648. But their first ever meeting, the Free Public Assembly of States for the Dutch, was on July 19th. So July 19th is a huge day for the Dutch, man. Their most famous actor died on that day. They got the first Free Assembly of States on that day. The charter of 1640 was signed on that day for the land of New Jersey, which is where it's taking place, the World Cup. It's so much happening on July 19th for the Dutch. You know, it's like the perfect day. It's the perfect day for a Dutch World Cup. I mean, really. Venezuela, the Queen of the South with the V. That's a good observation. Let me just jump into the comments. I'm almost done, guys. Can you believe that? Can you believe it? I'm almost done with this decode. You guys got to watch the whole thing, though. How long have we been live? 2 hours, guys. It took me 2 hours to get through all that info. Now, granted, I probably talked a lot, but I think I went pretty fast through a lot of info, but it took me 2 hours. My goodness. I apologize for that, guys. I don't like to do 2-hour live streams, but V Rising is a game about vampires that's got released in June 11th. Are you kidding me? No way. A lot of the reasons why this goes so long is because you guys are always adding stuff. I can't. V Rising? V Rising was released on PlayStation 5. Oh my gosh. PlayStation 5, like the V is the 5th Roman numeral. It was released on PlayStation 5 on June 11th. V Rising? Are you kidding me? It's about a vampire too, like Van Helsing. V Rising, released on June 11th, 2 years ago on PlayStation 5, which is the V. And it's about a vampire, which starts with a V. And guys, is not William, Prince of Wales, a descendant of Dracula? Is William, Prince of Wales, a descendant of Dracula. Yes, William, Prince of Wales, is a distant descendant of the 15th century Romanian ruler Vlad. His name starts with a V. Dracula's name, Vlad the Third, the Impaler. Oh my gosh, always V's, man. So yeah, William is this descendant of Vlad the Impaler, the real Dracula. Man, Vladimir, yeah, Vladimir makes you think of Vladimir Putin, huh? Man, this is just gets so perfect. V Rising. Man, I know I missed a lot of comments, guys. Let me try to. Rutger Hauer, Rutgers University is in New Jersey. Wow. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh yeah, Maggie told me there was an eclipse on June 11th, 1983. Rutger Hauer was a vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? No way. 7-1. Was he really? No. Rutger Hauer, vampire. He was in a movie called Soldier of Orange, which came out the year that Shakira was born. Oh my gosh. So Rutger Hauer was in a movie called Soldier of Orange, and it came out the year that Shakira was born. And he was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Look, guys, oh my goodness. This is just getting so almost crazy. Rutger Hauer, vampire. There it is, guys. There's Rutger Hauer, the guy. I didn't even know this. He died on July 19th, the day of the World Cup final, and a very important day to the Netherlands. And the Netherlands' most famous actor died on that day, and now he was in a vampire, Buffy the Vampire. Ugh. Willis Reed, the Knicks legend, died on Koeman's 60th birthday. Wow. Wow. And the Willis Reed thing is really relevant right now with. Did someone mention an actor from Buff the Vampire Slayer died yesterday or today? Did somebody? Oh, if that's true, I'm gonna lose it. Actor from Buffy. Are you kidding me? Did this guy just die? Anthony Stewart Head was an English actor. He just died today. He was in Spirit of Vengeance, guys. Here's your V again. He was in Buffy. Oh my gosh. He just died today on the Orange Day. He was in Buffy. He just died today, guys. Oh wait, no, he died June 1st. Why does it say June 5th? Here it says June 5th. So wait, did he die June 1st or June 5th? It says June 4th here. It says June 5th here, and it says June 1st. Anthony Head just died, man. Oh my gosh. This is what you call live mind-blowing decodes, guys. We were just talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I could have sworn I saw some of these numbers too. Oh, yikes. Anyway, I don't know how much longer I can even go, guys. I've been talking this whole thing, man. I don't know. It says June 1st here, but I don't know if because here it says June 5th. So, but Sean, thank you for posting that. The Dutch Order of Orange Nassau will be 1/6. Are you kidding me? Hold on. You guys aren't gonna let me go, are you? You guys are just you guys keep dropping more and more stuff that I can't even believe. The Dutch Order of Nassau will be 16 10 months and 1 day to the World Cup beginning and 16 11 16 or 49 49 days to the World Cup final. What date are you measuring from there? Can you give me that date you're measuring from? Orange. Wait, what is it? It's the Dutch Order of Nassau. Nassau or whatever. So you're talking about this date, April 4th, 1892? Are you kidding me? April 4th, 1892. 1892 is the same digits of the year that Prince William was born. 1982, 1892, same digits. April 4th. Wow, look at this. 49 49 days. That's crazy to the World Cup final, but as he said, 16 11 months, 16 days. Guys, this reminds you of King James. But that's also reminds you of the 1/6 I was talking about earlier. But if you go, he said if you go from to the beginning of the World Cup, yeah, it's 1/6. Look at that. 1/6 months in 1 week. So there's your 1/6 again. You know, I already talked about this. You guys got to go back and watch that part. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So something with the golden ratio, guys. 16 11, 1/1/6/1. Now my computer is dying. This stream has been so long, my computer's almost dead. Carmelo Anthony angle. I haven't covered that yet. No. I don't think I'm doing that here in this stream, though. Yeah, isn't it interesting that we're talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer? But yeah, I need to look into this. Order of the Orange Nassau. Oh, man. All right, for those of you just getting in, here's the main point, but you guys are going to have to watch this whole thing. This is 2 hours of nothing but info, info, info. Sean's in the chat dropping some more info now. 2319. That's that big 2319 code that we've been talking about. To the 719 finals is 389 weeks. And 719 is the 128th prime number. The first, second, and eighth primes are 2319. Bridge collapse equals 128. 3 times 89 is the prime factors of 267. The Golden Gate at 267. Yeah, that's interesting. And you know, William, Prince of Wales, he's born on 128 date numerology. And if I'm not mistaken, William V equals 128. No, William V equals. Oh man, I thought I there's something with. I know he was born on 128 date numerology. Look at that. He equals the name of the guy that just died today. William V equals Anthony Head. Yeah, I'm just trying to get through these comments now, guys. Just kind of seeing what else you could. But yeah, thank you, Sean, for that amazing comment as usual. But that 128 is definitely something I've been looking at with William. So And it's like a bridge between his father and him, Charles and his son. The bridge to the father. And remember, the original William of the Netherlands was known as the father of the fatherland. I thought you'd like that one, Sean. The original William from the Netherlands, William the Silent, he was known as the father of the fatherland. So it connects back to all the father-son stuff. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it, actually, is that it's all about the fatherland. Remember, the name Van means from, like from a land. Like from your fatherland. Speaking of fatherland, let's just touch on this. My dad's name is Scott, but my mom's side of the family, I come from Scottish heritage, but my real dad's name is Scott. So my fatherland is Scotland, and my father's name is Scott. And on the World Cup this year, Scotland will be playing Morocco on my birthday. And the captain, so Scotland, my homeland, is playing Morocco on my birthday, on King James' birthday. And the captain of Scotland is a guy with my last name. I mean, this is just crazy to me. I mean, how perfect is that? Like, my birthday, the guy who leads the team is the same last name as me. It's my fatherland. My father's name is Scott. I come from Scotland. And the guy who's the captain is Robertson. That's my name. And yeah, I mean, his name, Andy Robertson, equals 170, which is my birth date. I'm born on the 170th day of the year. Andy Robertson, 170. I'm born on the 170th day of the year, June 19th, King James' birthday, who's from Scotland. Toy Story 5 is releasing that day. Wow, yeah, that's crazy. Toy Story 5 is releasing on my birthday. Toy Story V. Wow, guys. And look at this. Oh my gosh. Their first game for the Netherlands is in Texas. Cowboys. So how crazy organic is that, guys? The whole Robertson thing, my dad's name, and now on my birthday, I'm talking about the letter V, which is 5. And on my birthday, Toy Story 5 is releasing. And look how it's about revealing. Like, you see this? It's saying hi, like a revelation. It's got Bad Bunny in it. It's got a guy named John Ratzenberger. Interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do a decode on Toy Story 5. I'm sure we will. But yeah, June 19th. It's also Juneteenth, which is a new holiday. And also, honestly, no matter what you look at, it all kind of goes back to freedom and independence, right? Which ultimately we don't find here in the fleshly world. We find in God and in Christ. We find our true independence. We don't get stuck in this physical material world, but we rise above that. And we gain our true independence. But there is independence to be had in the fleshly realm as well. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Savage. That is a good that's a good, I know that, but I knew that water holds memory because I've definitely seen documentaries on that. In fact, I think that's a lot of the reason why we're all so sick, because all the water is so, it's holding all kinds of bad memories. I mean, think about all the bad things that happen in the world, and as that builds up, the water holds on to those things, and then the water's sick, man. That's why we're sick. The water's sick. To infinity and beyond. Yeah, everlasting life. That's beautiful. Guys, think about that. That's so beautiful. In Christ, in God, to infinity and beyond. Because beyond infinity, what is even beyond infinity? Let's see what that equals. Is that not the quote from the movie, To Infinity and Beyond? Funny, it equals 2025 or 225 equals 99. Yeah, maybe just gonna have to do a Toy Story decode in general. I mean, it is coming out on my birthday, so I kind of feel obligated to at least cover it. But again, my birthday, our birthdays, while they're somewhat important, they're not so important as the world makes them to be. In fact, I think our day of moving on is more important than our birthday. I mean, even though death is not a good thing, I think, I don't know, death is not as dark as it may seem, I think. Especially if you know what's up. Yeah, that's right, Dr. Savage. Probably. Ecclesiastes 7:1. Is that the verse about the death? Or I think I know what you're talking about. Ecclesiastes 7:1. Yep. That's what I thought you were talking about. A good name is better than precious ointment in the day of death than the day of one's birth. How about that? Don't you think the world's kind of backwards? We celebrate our birthdays, but we mourn our death day. But at the end of the day, when you know where you're going, death day is actually a release. Even though it's scary, right? But it's actually a release. Should probably be celebrated a bit more, or at least reverenced. But maybe it's kind of backwards, you got people, I mean, it is a sad day, don't get me wrong, it's a sad thing, but is it really that sad when you know what's that you're being released from this cage that we're living in? Is it really a sad day? I don't think so. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. We got a little deep at the end, but I did my best to present the World Cup riddle, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And again, a lot of you guys did. You guys hit that like button. We got 163 likes. So thank you to all the people who hit that like button. If you guys want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Hit the like, share the video. I know there's like a hype button that you can hit nowadays. So if you guys are feeling hyped, you guys can always hit that button as well. I always try to hit the hype button when I can, whenever it pops up. Also, buy me a coffee link is at the top. That's always appreciated. And thank you to all the people who support and send loving comments and just everybody who supports and is here with me every day. Thank you guys so much. This was way longer of a decode than I wanted, but we're going to end it here. Okay. So sorry for the long decode. But again, don't hold me to it for the Netherlands thing. I just did my best and seeing what I saw. I'm just doing my best, guys. I'm not trying to be some sort of egoic predictor of things. I'm just trying to point out riddles and show things how they are. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to Dr. Savage. Thank you to all the people who added stuff. Thank you, Maggie. Oh, Maggie, I forgot to look into your eclipse. Let's do that real fast. I told Maggie I would look into it. Let me just do that really fast. Eclipse on June 11th, 1983. So yeah, guys, June 11th, 1983 was a solar eclipse. Where was that over? Looks like near the Pacific there. But yeah, I'll look more into this too, Maggie, for you, and see if I can. There's got to be something to this as well. I mean, it's on this June 11th, so that would be 44 years before this upcoming. Oh wait, is that 44 years? No, 43. 43 years. All right, guys, take care. Have a great rest of your day. Love you all, and we'll see you guys in the next decode, okay? Take care.